So we are reading Liquid Luck by Joe Gallenberger. We are on chapter 10, page number 116 of the book and 96 of the PDF.
Dear Joe, I have reviewed your book on Amazon and gave it 5 stars. My pleasure. I have just started some of the manifestation meditations from your series in the last week. Today, my daughter found an expensive ruby and gold ring that I bought for my wife 7 or 8 years ago. It had been lost for at least 4 years, maybe 5. My wife and I had given it up for gone a long time ago. She found it buried in the glove compartment of my wife's old car. When I saw the ring, I immediately thought of Inner Vegas and Liquid Luck. Maybe it is just a coincidence, or maybe not. And that is certainly far more interesting.
So,
Michelle.
things which are lost can suddenly appear. I keep mentioning this book, The Secret Life of Inanimate Objects. And we had a very funny incident. In fact, it happened with Ilabo only. After my younger brother's wedding, his wife's, she had a nug ka tikki, a diamond tikki, and that disappeared. We could not find it. And we just couldn't find it. So we forgot about it. Then after a year, Ilabo came back to Calcutta, and she had traveled, she had gone all over the world for a tour, and she came back, and we found that nug stuck outside her bag. Can you imagine? It was stuck outside, not even inside. So what happens many times, I'm just going a little off track, is what needs to come back to you can come back to you. This also happened to me with my Swiss knife in school. I used to have a Swiss knife, and previously I was very attached to it. So if it got lost, I used to get very upset. Subsequently, what started happening was that when I started shifting in consciousness, if something gets lost, I always say, if it's meant to come back, it will come back. And 9 out of 10 times the stuff actually comes back. Of course, here liquid luck also plays a part. But if you have a resonance with something, it will automatically come back to you.
Joe got the discs on Friday, listening during a cat nap. Next day, an unexpected check for $3,000 was delivered. Alan. Dear Dr. Gallenberger, it is not often that I write to a manufacturer of a product that I've purchased. As a scientist, engineer, and product designer, I avoid any products that have no scientific merit. In the case of your revolutionary product, Liquid Luck, I was so dramatically impressed with the results that I felt compelled to let you know about my experience with your amazing product. As mentioned above, my current job description is that of a product designer, and I often find inspiration difficult to come by. Days or weeks go by without a glimmer of a new product in my mind. That is, until I was exposed to Liquid Luck. Listening to this compact disc with headphones right before I retire for the evening, Liquid Luck enables me to quiet my busy mind and releases powers in my imagination. I have overcome my block and am working on an innovative series of products that I attribute to my newfound inspiration. A meditative theme with relaxing ambient sounds takes you away from the daily grind. Dr. Gallenberger's verbal instructions instills your subconscious mind with new thoughts that will remove your mundane world and instead replace it with a world of wonder, peace, and energy. I heartily recommend using Liquid Luck on a daily basis, whether you're a designer or just someone who is seeking more inner peace. Sincerely, Albert von Schweikert, Chief Design Engineer.
So this, what is he saying over here? That it cools the mind down, and then it allows you to focus on innovation. Okay, it focuses on inspiration. This is the same thing that happened with Joe McMonaghan. When they were doing the remote viewing, it used to take them 2 hours to cool down, anything between 40 minutes to 2 hours to cool down. so that they could do remote viewing, right? Now, once they got the track from Robert Monroe, the cool down period dropped from 2 hours to 40 minutes to 5 minutes. So the efficiency levels started to increase. So you can actually still the mind. When the mind stills, that is when inspiration can come. If the mind is too cluttered, then the inspiration cannot come into the system. So definitely the hemisync signals which are there will definitely affect you in various ways. Shivangla, you have to come closer to your mic. Your voice is cracking.
Is it okay now?
Better you come closer to the mic, please.
Joe's note. Albert designs amazing stereo speakers. He and I share a deep love of music. We have developed a friendship over the years, and I have a pair of his speakers. He invents innovative products from very affordable to stratospheric in price and quality, and all very musical. Recently, he called me, excited to share that he had been blocked for 18 months in attempts to design a state of the art $500,000 speaker system, and with liquid luck has able to run through complex mathematical options in his imagination and discover the solution he was speaking. The speakers are now in production.
So again, when we are going into these altered states, when we are actually hitting those states of consciousness where inspiration can really seep in, and that can only happen when we still our mind. Now, normal meditation, it takes decades to achieve that. With hemisync processes, it's possible to go there very fast. And that's what's the beauty of the entire process.
Chapter 11, Binaural Beat Meditation. I wanted to let you know some of the results I have produced from listening to the CD Liquid Luck. First, let me say the CD is so calming. My body feels calm and my mind feels alert. I love it. I use the information on Liquid Luck to tap into my intuition better. For example, the other day I was out running errands and needed to stop for gas. While at the gas station, I thought about the pattern I had learned through Liquid Luck and used it. I got the idea to buy some scratch off lottery tickets for my husband as a surprise. So I bought him five $1 scratch off tickets. When he scratched them off, he had won $21. A great bit of fun. Thank you, Dr. Joe.
So again, she says very clearly here, she was inspired to buy the lottery tickets. So, you have to start becoming open. You have to start becoming aware of this inspiration which drops in and then actually work on it. You have to act on it. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Dear Dr. Joe, and I promised in the introduction of this book to go into more detail about binaural beat technology. In this chapter, I will discuss what it is and how it can help with meditation. We will look specifically at how it is used in liquid luck to facilitate rapid and deep shifts in consciousness, allowing for new creativity and energy to be applied to the creation of luck and abundance. The most researched variant of binaural beat technology is called Hemisync, so we will examine this quite carefully. Just give me a second.
So the Hemisync process is the most researched, and the kind of repertoire that is there with Hemisync using binaural beats is truly amazing. And also the institute has the patent for multi-layered binaural beats. So normally what is available is single binaural beats, but here we have multi-layered binaural beats.
A large variety of methods of contemplation and meditation from various religious systems are very effective at altering consciousness and have great value. But most of them require years of study and practice to attain consistency and proficiency. Examples of these include centering, prayer, chanting, yoga, and qigong. They may require the adoption of a particular set of religious or philosophical beliefs, and some have been adapted for Western use.
So what does it mean over here, right? If you're going into any of these practices, there are a lot of rules and regulations, and you have to adhere to them before they will teach you, right? So there are a lot of, uh, I mean, there's a burden when you're going into these, and also it takes a long time to achieve these states while you're using any of these particular methods.
There are quite a few meditation methods developed in the past 50 years that use the assistance of sound and or light technologies that aid in the process of altering consciousness. Most of these are free of the need to adopt any particular beliefs for them to be effective. While they may work well according to self-reports, few have been studied in any scientific way.
So Shivangla, just slow down a little bit, please.
The system that I think has the best research behind it and is most effective for most people in binaural beat technology, and the most studied binaural beat technology in terms of research and application over the last few decades, is the Hemisync system designed by Robert Monroe. I must state that this whole field is a vast and somewhat uncharted area, and there may be indeed be as good or better technologies out there, but that this Hemisync binaural beat system is the one I am most familiar with. I have used it myself and seen thousands of others use it over a period of 30 years. Given this, Hemisync will be our reference point for discussing how binaural beat technology works and is helpful to those exploring the manifestation path.
So the Hemisync technology was patented in 75. So that's like 55 years or 45 years ago, right? So, and it's been around. And in fact, in the workshops, we are still using the tracks that were developed and actually voiced by Robert Monroe. So in spite of 40 years, you can understand that that technology is still effective. So you can understand the veracity of the entire process.
I have been a trainer of residential programs at the Monroe Institute in Virginia for about 23 years and a participant in their programs for a few years longer. I travel there about 10 times a year, each time to train one of their week-long programs. Perhaps Bob Monroe's most brilliant invention was his Hemisync system. Hemisync stands for the term hemispheric synchronization, which refers to synchronizing the two hemispheres of the brain. In this system, stereo headphones are employed to provide each ear with a slightly different steady tone. This causes what is termed a binaural beat, which is heard as a wobbling tone in the center of the head. This tone does not really exist outside the brain. Rather, it is created by the brain when exposed to two slightly different tones, one in each ear.
So all the people who've attended the excursion will already be familiar with this. Basically, what he's saying is one tone is played from one ear and a slightly different tone is played from another ear. And what happens is when this is done, a third sound is created inside the head, which is not on the recording, but is at the frequency of the difference between these two tones. And that is what is used to take us into these altered states of consciousness.
One interesting thing is that when this binaural beat happens, the person's brain waves tend to synchronize between the right and left hemispheres of the brain. This facilitates more communication between the brain hemispheres, resulting in a more whole brain focused learning state compared to our usual state of consciousness. In some ways, it is like helping our brain power move from a scattered radiation, similar to a light bulb, to focusing it more like a laser.
So again, most of us are familiar. We've got two sides of the brain, the left and the right. Most of the time, we are squeezed towards one side of the brain. So as a primitive man, we were more right-brained. But as a modern man, we are more left-brained. Now, the left brain can perform certain functions, the right brain can perform certain functions. But if we can go into a whole brain state where we have access to the capabilities of both sides, then naturally we become more efficient and effective in whatever we do.
Sound waves are measured in cycles per second. Human beings can usually hear sounds in the range of 20 cycles per second to 20,000 cycles per second. Our brain waves can also be measured in cycles per second and usually span from a very low 1 cycle per second to a fairly rapid 50 cycles per second or higher. In addition to synchronizing the hemispheres, binaural beats tend to move the brainwave patterns to the speed of the difference between the two tones, one in each ear. So if the difference between the two tones is 4 cycles per second, the brain tends to begin to also go into a 4 cycle per second rhythm. If another difference is presented over the headphones, such as 10 cycles per second, then the brain tends to go into a 10 cycle per second pattern.
So every state that we are in will have a predominance of a certain brainwave pattern in the brain. Okay, so if you are able to comprehend me right now, it is one state. When we go to sleep, it is another state. So using the binaural beat technology, you can actually put a person to sleep. You can make a person more sharply focused. You can go into a meditative state. You can go into a aha state. You can go into a highly spiritual state. So all these things are possible using sound.
The binaural beat effect was discovered in 1839 by Heinrich Wilhelm Duff, but studied only occasionally until 100 years later, when Gerald Oster revived interest in the subject with new research. The effect of binaural beats on consciousness were then examined by physicist Thomas Warren Campbell and electrical engineer Dennis Menerick. They worked under the direction of Robert Monroe. Mr. Monroe then added facilitating sound effects and verbal guidance to the binaural beats and found this effective for altering consciousness in directions desired. He called this mix of all three components, beats, sound effects, and verbal guidance, Hemisync. He received an original patent in 1975 for this Hemisync mixture and its ability to enhance consciousness. We know that different cycles per second in brainwave patterns tend to correlate with the different states of consciousness. For example, the 1 to 4 cycles per second pattern is called the delta range and tends to be present when we are deeply asleep. Many other brainwave patterns have been identified, such as 4 to 7 cycles, called the theta range, which is often present in deep meditative states. Cycles of 7 to 14 are called the alpha range and are present in lighter meditation states and daydreaming. And 14 to 25 cycles, called the beta range, occur during the awake states. There is a state called gamma that involves brainwave frequencies of 25 to 50 cycles per second. Gamma states are particularly significant to our discussion in that they seem to be associated with psychic phenomena such as energy healing and PK. There are higher brainwave patterns called epsilon, which at this time have just begun to attract researchers' attention.
So very clearly, when we are going to sleep, so we have to have delta frequencies in our brainwave pattern. So delta frequencies ranges from 1 hertz or zero point 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz. When we are in a dream state, we have to have theta frequencies in our brainwave pattern. Or even if we are going into a meditative state, it is from 4 hertz to 8 hertz. Okay. Again, there's a range over there. You can have it 7.5, 7.4 or whatever also. And then you have the alpha frequencies, is when you are in a relaxed state, when you're daydreaming, you're feeling comfortable. That is from 8 to 14. And then you have from 14 up to actually 38 is the beta frequencies. Now, generally, the good beta frequencies are from 14 to 25. And then if you are getting very angry or aggressive, etc., at that time, you can have the higher beta frequencies. And beyond that is the gamma frequencies when a person is having an out of body experience. You are having and near death experience, you're going into samadhi states, etc. That is when you start having gamma frequencies in your brainwave pattern.
One can also combine different binaural beat patterns together at the same time, such as delta and beta patterns. Such a pattern can result in a state where the body is simultaneously deeply asleep, delta, and the mind still awake and aware, beta. In this state, many people are surprised to be awake, yet hearing themselves snore. Such a state is excellent for deep relaxation, pain control, accelerated healing, and receiving intuition.
So what is happening here? The body is going to sleep. So the body is totally relaxed. When the body is relaxed, that is the time that the body can heal itself. It can rejuvenate itself. But now the mind is active. So this is a classic focus 10 state that you are taken into in the excursion workshop, which is very, very therapeutic, healing, and you can tap into your subconscious mind and the universal consciousness to get a lot of intuition. Joe McMoneagle's all remote viewing. You can actually Google Joe McMoneagle and you'll get a lot of data on him. Okay. He did everything in focus 10, which is this state that he is actually talking about over here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize. Many states of consciousness have been mapped, each having particular qualities and uses to it. In the Monroe system, different patterns of binaural beats and their most common resulting patterns of consciousness are called focus levels. These focus levels are then designated by numbers. In the Monroe system, focus 1 is ordinary awake consciousness. Focus 3 relates to the increased synchronization of brain hemispheres or whole brain activation. Focus 10 is the body asleep, mind awake state already mentioned. Focus 12 is called a state of expanded awareness and an activation of the ability to perceive information beyond what is usually available through the physical senses. Focus 12 can be thought of activating our sixth sense or our psychic senses. By the time a person's brain waves have shifted from focus 1, our usual consciousness, to focus 12, there are profound differences in how we process information and get answers to questions. This can come in very handy for unleashing creative thought processes, such as my engineer friend used to solve problems and have inspiration for inventions. Often in Focus 12 states, solutions pop up that would have seemed just too simple from the perspective of Focus 1 everyday consciousness. and therefore would never have arisen for consideration.
So what is happening? We are expanding the state of our perception. So in normal consciousness states, if we can only perceive so much, in these expanded states, we are actually expanding our perception. So a lot of things can start happening for us when we go into these expanded states.
Binaural beat technology delivered through headphones is a terrific tool for changing consciousness in many ways and is helpful in the PK, energy healing, and the manifestation process. It allows a rapid dogma free training so that a person can manage their emotional and mental states with much greater control. At its most basic, we can use this technology to simply relax and move into the present moment. We have found this to be very useful in abundance creation because it allows us to go off fear and limited thinking, and so often the ego driven monkey mind's grip on our consciousness.
So again, there is no dogma involved, right? So what is happening over here? In most other cases, whenever you're following other religious practices, etc., which can take you to the same state, there's no doubt in that. But there are dogmas involved. You have to follow the niyam kanun, you have to follow the rules and regulations. In this process, there are no dogmas, right? So you can get rid of your emotional, because one person may be coming from one culture, another person from another culture, and they have the belief systems which they are carrying within themselves. Right now, in this technology, all that is not touched. So you're not getting emotionally or mentally strained when you use the process, which can take you into these altered states extremely fast and extremely efficiently. And these states are very good because you start opening those channels up to create abundance and manifestation in your life. Because manifestation requires a certain mindset, and these states of consciousness allow you to get into those states of consciousness.
Some binaural beat patterns are designed to facilitate access to even deeper levels of consciousness. These levels facilitate a transcending of the usual limits of time space perception, both to think more creatively and to open up one's potential to be in touch with non physical energies and dimensions. Here, intuition, guidance, and wisdom are more accessible. These higher states of awareness come in handy with PK and energy healing because they seem to utilize energies that transcend the usual rules of time space. Finally, by helping to quiet left brain consciousness, binaural beat technologies can help us become more aware of our own heart consciousness or heart energy. We have shown that the power of love is the greatest of all powers that can help us with manifesting our dreams.
So when you look at the brain, the left side of the brain is logical and it is connected with the ego more than the right side. The right side is more connected with the heart. So when we go, and as a society, we've all become left brain. So when we go into a whole brain state, the left brain's activity quietens down, so to say, and the right brain's activity goes up. So we become more connected, and the right brain is more connected to the heart energy, which is the connection to the love energy. Okay. So the connection with the brain and the heart starts to get more pronounced. And then when we use this system to go into these expanded states, then we are going into multi-dimensional kind of universes. We are going into beautiful states of consciousness, which people talk about. Here he's mentioned focus 10 and 12. You can, in the Monroe programs, now we can go up to focus 52. So you can understand. People who've attended the excursion itself, they get an aha in focus 10 and 12. So when we are going into the higher focus levels, it becomes even subtler, 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 and much finer. And then you can actually access a lot of stuff when we get into those states.
Binaural beat exercises are efficient and practical. They are mostly about a half hour long and can be easily used from a compact disc or loaded onto portable electronic devices such as iPods, Android systems, and iPhones and be carried around conveniently. All you need to do is to relax in a chair or bed, put on the headphones, and listen. There is no need to spend years studying some esoteric system. The headphone part may be significant. The hemisync, the hemispheric synchronization under binaural beat stimulation has been proven to occur compared to placebo in double-blind studies. However, a study using air conduction tubes to deliver the sound rather than headphones failed to produce the synchronization, suggesting that perhaps the electromagnetic stimulation of the headphones may lead to a stronger effect, rather than just an acoustic presentation such as hearing the sound over speakers.
So now the research is that even over speakers, it works, but not as efficiently as it works with using headphones. I use it on speakers every night. I have two speakers on both sides of my bed, and I play the sleep tracks, one of the sleep tracks in the night, and I fall off to sleep very, very fast. Okay, so you can put two speakers on both sides of the bed and use it.
What is the meaning of double blind studies?
Double blind studies mean people don't know whether the signal is there. So you have a control group. When you want to study something, then you have a control group which is not getting, say, the signals, and you have another group which is getting the signals. And then you test the difference in there. Like it is
Okay.
double blind is used a lot in medication.
Yeah, okay.
So when they are testing, the FDI, when they are testing medical medicines, etc., they always have to do a double blind test.
Okay,
Where
understood.
people are given the medicine, and someone may be given a sugar pill and the other
Yeah,
one is
yeah.
given the medicine.
Yeah.
And then they see the difference between the.
Okay,
In fact,
thank
they
you.
have three groups. One group is not given anything. One group is given a dummy, and one group is given the actual medication. And then they study the differences between the three groups. This
Thank
is
you.
very well documented in this book called The Molecules of Emotion. Very nicely, she is given the entire way of how drugs are developed, etc.
Okay, thanks.
In the liquid luck meditation, the combination of changing binaural beats plus sounds that facilitate movements in consciousness and verbal guidance all combine to take the listener on a journey of expanded awareness. At the beginning of the exercise, the three factors combine to help one rapidly relax. Next, there is guidance to offload any distractions and to have concerns put aside and transformed into a new positive energy patterns. This is very useful, quietening any fear or limiting beliefs. The listener is then guided to begin raising their consciousness and energy with the help of changing binaural beats and sound effects. Once in a high energy, open hearted state, there is gentle verbal guidance to create the vial of liquid love. Here is where the energies of happiness, gratitude, abundance, love, praise, and good fortune are added. The exercise includes how this container of liquid love can be utilized with the following words.
So what is the process? When you're really looking at it, if you're stressed out and agitated, no kind of manifestation is going to work. So in most of the exercises, the first thing that happens is that you are made to relax. You're made to relax, get into a relaxed state. Then after that, you need to let go of your worries. You need to let go of your day-to-day associations, which are causing you stress and tension. Because if you're stressed out, again, manifestation will not work. Then you're taken into an expanded state. So you let go of those worries, etc. Then you are gently taken into an expanded state of consciousness, which is the feeding or the seeding ground for manifestation. And then you prepare something in that state of consciousness, which then results in the manifestation taking place. Whether it is a physical thing that you're wanting to manifest, a mental thing, an emotional thing, an idea. So whatever you want, an inspiration in that expanded state, then it starts to manifest.
When you want to use your potion, all you need to do is imagine your container filled with the swirling liquid. Hold it between your fingers, see it sparkle with the energies of happiness, gratitude, abundance, compassion, love, praise, and good fortune. Then take a drink, and all parts of your being, from your conscious mind, your unconscious, your energy body, your inner child wisdom, through your highest self, and down to the quantum energy in every cell, will align and harmonize to create a wonderfully lucky day for you, where good fortune abounds and you reach your goals easily and effortlessly. The more often you use your liquid luck, the more powerful and effective it will become.
So it's like anything. The more muscle memory you develop over after using something, the more powerful it will automatically become.
As you can see, liquid luck is designed so that once the potion is formed, it can be used without the need to take the time to go through the full meditation again. This way, it can be employed on the fly in real life. For example, before an important meeting, right before buying a lotto ticket, or at the beginning of a day where you are actively working on manifesting something highly valuable to you. Give this. Given this, I was initially surprised at how many people reported listening to the exercise itself nearly every day because they found that doing so put them in such a great mood where creativity, confidence, and good feeling flowed. Upon reflection, this made perfect sense given the more powerful effect of the binaural beat technology and the emphasis on activating the high energies from happiness to love during the meditation.
So this is literally true for all the Hemisync tracks that we've been using. Everyone, I think anyone who has been coming for the meditations will feel shifts happening in their life. They'll be happier, they'll be more content, they'll be more relaxed. I'm not saying that they will not get irritated, but they'll get less irritated. Anxiety levels will come down, right? I don't see anyone on the awareness groups talking about depleting things. I just don't see it. When I go to other groups, they are constantly talking about depleting things. And I tell them over there that why are you talking about depleting things? Let's talk about something which is uplifting. But over here, we never have a conversation. If you see people who are there who open their videos, they'll always be smiling. They're always, in a vibrant kind of a state. And I know that a lot of people are going through a lot in their lives, but whatever we are doing is giving them the strength, it's giving them that internal harmony to be able to handle that kind of situation. So, what he's saying over here basically is that if you keep hearing the track also, it has an automatic beneficial effect. Now, this is not true only for liquid luck, it's true for most of the other tracks that we've been using.
The liquid luck exercise ends by guiding the listener gently back down into normal waking consciousness with the help for the binaural beats changing back to those beats that support a relaxed but awake and alert state. This is done in a way that accents the powerful effect of trusting and letting go that was covered in the chapter entitled Synchronicity, Serendipity, Timing, and Trust.
So what is happening when we go into that relaxed state, then we are not forcing things to happen. We are setting an intent, letting it go, and then allowing it to manifest, right? And that's when the synchronicity starts to happen. When you are in that expanded state, you get a sense of timing as to when should you do something. Because if you do the right thing at the wrong time, it doesn't work. If you do the right thing for the wrong person, it doesn't work. If you do the right thing at the wrong place, it still doesn't work. So he talks about synchronicity, where things happen one after the other. Serendipity, there's suddenly things happen, right? And then the timing. And most important is that you trust the process. You allow things to manifest rather than making them manifest.
Now simply let go, releasing your patterns out to the farthest reaches of your awareness. Release your pattern and trust the universe to create this pattern for you and with you. Just let go and relax. You can now make space and energy available for your new creation to enter your life by simply letting go. Resting now, calm, confident, and comfortable, and open to receiving all good, opening to the new positive energies and patterns that will come into your life.
So over here, what is he saying? Right? He says it very clearly over here that you are releasing the pattern that you want to create. You're releasing it to the universe. You're releasing it to the furthest reaches of your conscious awareness. So you're going to touch the depth of your awareness because you don't know from where the manifestation will come, right? Once I have released it, then I am in that relaxed kind of a state where I'm not forcing things again. I allow the universe to manifest for me whatever is the best for me. Now, this kind of creativity, this kind of letting go cannot happen if we have a cluttered mind. We have to have a mind which is still, which is sensitive, which is in compassion, which is tagged into love. If you look at the left side and right side of the grid, you have to be on the right side of the grid to be in that state of mind, in that state of consciousness. And then when you let it go, you allow the pattern to manifest and come into your life because you're operating out of a deep trust that yes, the best will manifest.
Now it is time to return to normal waking consciousness. Please gently begin to bring your awareness fully back into your body as you listen to this affirmation. I enjoy new energy by grounding. I allow my spirit's energy and light to fill my body. I am nurtured by the sacred energies of the earth so that I am fully spirit and flesh at the same time, and I am fully present to each sacred moment. You will remember and integrate all you have experienced for your great benefit.
So, grounding is extremely important. We are all connected with the earth. We are resonating with the frequencies of the earth. In fact, we are resonating with everything that is around us. Now, what are we resonating and how are we affecting our environment and how the environment is affecting us becomes extremely important. So, if I am centered, I am in equanimity, then I will spread and create equanimity wherever I go, right? So grounding over here becomes extremely important. If I'm flying high, then I'm not being able to harness those energies which are being created in these meditations. So grounding is an extremely important part of the entire process because it allows these energies to actually get into us. If we are flying high, we cannot hold these energies in us. And naturally, the meditation tells you that you will remember these states of consciousness when you're out of it.
So now you understand where much of the magic in liquid love comes from. It is in this combination of the highest energies generated and focused in a particular way to facilitate creation of our dreams. It is able to be so rapid and powerful because of the exceptional utility of binaural beat meditation to aid this process.
So I have done a lot in my life. I have not seen anything till now that really creates an ability within us to shift the states of consciousness in such a structured way, apart from the Monroe process till now.
Chapter 12, Tools for Mastering Manifestation. Hey Joe, I noticed that the results that come from raising energy don't happen right away or in the same day. I found that I was not being given business at this difficult gym where I am a personal trainer. I did the liquid luck meditation. Then I got a call from someone who is in another very busy gym. It was a day or two after doing liquid luck, and she called me saying how well she was doing and invited me over. They have a lot of volume to keep up with, and now I'm in the process of transferring over. In time, I'll be able to practice more of my manifesting skills to do the Sync Creation program and the workshop. Best regards, Damien.
So whenever we let the idea out of what we are wanting to create and then allow the universe to manifest for it for us, it can happen very, very effortlessly. So again, the four S's start to come into the picture, where swata, it happens itself. This is what synchronicity, serendipity is all about, right? So when we are open to it, only then it can start happening.
If one decides to engage in a thorough study of PK, energy healing, and the manifestation process, to it make it a yoga or pathway that they want to deeply understand and to become proficient at no matter what the circumstance, then more extensive tools become necessary. Folks who have taken the time to read this book this far may be in that camp. Perhaps you have had some success with the liquid luck meditation or other forms of manifestation, but there are still areas in your life that seem limited or lagging behind. It is here that these additional tools may help. And even if instead you feel totally negative, powerless, and blocked, and suspect that the concepts presented here are either overly optimistic or do not apply to you and your situation, these additional tools to address fears and limits may help.
So again, we are our biggest stumbling blocks in our creativity, in our process of manifestation, simply because of the limits that we place on ourselves and the fears or the fear systems that we are operating from. So that means the belief systems that we are operating from do not allow us to get into these states. So the additional tools that are there, again, there's so many tools, I'm sure he's going to talk about them here, but there's so many tools to overcome our limiting beliefs. And that's what's the game that we are playing in awareness today, that we are getting a toolbox. We are getting many tools to help us to shift, to create shifts in our life and to empower ourselves. That is the most important thing that we are doing in awareness, to empower ourselves so that we can be what we truly are meant to be.
This book already contains a wealth of tools that are now at your disposal. They represent my best thinking on what are the basics to master if you become a serious student of manifestation. Cultivating and nourishing the energies of happiness, gratitude, abundance, compassion, praise, and love. And doing so in a grounded fashion can be nothing but positive and is often profoundly healing and empowering on the path. These energies themselves will often quiet or slay many heads of the fear dragon.
So naturally, all these items, when you see happiness, gratitude, abundance, compassion, praise, and love, are all on the right side of the grid. So if you start using the simple tool of observing in your daily life which side of the grid you're operating on, this will automatically start to manifest in your life. Of course, using the meditations, going into these altered states in a structured manner will always help. But the simple tool of operating in the right side will automatically cause shifts in your life.
In case you want or need to go further, I would like to present a buffet of other tools in no particular order. At a buffet, you need not eat everything, but often cruise along finding the foods that call to you at the moment. Similarly, here, a great approach is just to cruise through these offerings and note the tools that calls to you as most appropriate for your next step along the path. Then take action and try that particular offering as the instrument of growth for you. You are seeking to dramatically increase your self awareness and explore more deeply through understanding and experience that which interests you here, be it PK, energy healing, manifestation, or all of these skills. Self awareness is essential to discover your true nature as a miracle creator and to find where you might be blocked. Many of these tools are free and some cost varying amounts of time and money. Before starting to assess these tools, affirm that you are worth the time and investment and that you are going to find the right approach that greatly benefits you and those around you.
So awareness is the first step to manifestation. When you start becoming aware, then only you can create or engage tools to create what you want to create. So he says it very clearly here, self-awareness is essential to discover your true nature as a miracle creator. And of course, there are many tools which are there. And again, in awareness, we've had so many speakers, so many various tools which are available in the world. It's not funny. So we have to have that sense also to be able to discern what is the best for us at that point in time.
First off, let nothing stop you. Let everything become a source of learning. If you blow it occasionally, like I and everybody else I know does, and get into a fight, frustration, or funk, allow it to be a teaching moment and avoid derailing yourself by going into self criticism, victim consciousness, or judgment. This journey is a marathon, not a sprint. So take time to just rest and veg out. Keeping a record of your experiences and even significant dreams in a journal can be very helpful to track progress and gain insight.
So all of us are work in progress, right? We are not perfect. So we are going to be up and down. The point is that we are our own biggest critics and we keep beating ourselves down. And that, in my view, is the worst thing that you can do. Anything that happens to us, in my view, is there in our lives to teach us something or to use it as a growth tool. Now, if something which we consider is not happiness generating for us, we can look to find the lesson from that particular experience and then learn it and move ahead and transcend. Now, what we have been seeing a lot is that people get stuck in patterns, right? The pattern, as mentioned before, many times I keep talking about it. The pattern is generated when you have not learned the lesson that you need to learn. So if there is a pattern in your life, I would suggest that seriously pay attention and see what is that pattern in your life there for. What is it attempting to teach you? Once you learn that, then you can move ahead. And it is always one step at a time. Okay. There is no fast track into this. You have to be gentle with yourself and you have to keep your conscious awareness totally ignited to be able to perceive what is happening. The moment you take one step at a time, one step at a time, and keep at it, that's when the clearing will start taking place and you will reach that state of self realization.
There is, of course, many books on these subjects. There is a section called Suggested Readings at the end of this book, mentioning some books that I and others have found central to their journeys. My own book, Inner Vegas Creating Miracles, Abundance, and Health, is about much more than Vegas and covers much more psychokinesis, energy healing, and transcending personal dragons. Another great source of information now is through websites which contain everything from sites on which to take part in PK and intuition experiments to sites such as YouTube, where many videos are available on these topics. I have had people report seeing one of the videos there on spoon bending and then immediately being able to duplicate the PK and bend a spoon at home. Many of the radio shows that I have done in the past year are on the web, as well as many famous inspirational speakers in the self empowerment and manifestation areas. An excellent way to find them is to enter a term such as psychokinesis or energy healing and see what pops up. My website, syncreation.com, has lots of free tips and articles on the topic that we have been exploring. A wonderful
So,
way.
so there are many sites, etc., which are there, okay, which can take us into these altered states and into these altered things. And of course, we've been doing a lot in awareness. So I guess all of you are exposed to a lot of stuff. Okay, I think we'll stop here. Shangla, you can mark it.